because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. From Radio Cornwall this morning to IFL TV this afternoon. He only deals in the big stuff. Brad Pauls, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, double busy with the media stuff, but I could fit you in. No worries, mate. I made some room for you.
Lucky me. In the aftermath of your win at the weekend, just kind of one to get you back on track after the defeat to Tyler. Just a quick reflection on Saturday night. How did that go for you?
It was good. Obviously, it was a whole new feeling for me. Obviously, I'd never lost as a pro before that, and coming off of a loss, it was a whole new experience. And obviously, it was a really quick turnaround from my last fight. So I think it was about 7 weeks. So everything was a bit new, but I didn't want to sit and dwell on the loss too much. So I just thought the opportunity came up, and I thought I want to stay out, stay busy. I complained a little bit about not being active enough. So I was at the ring for 9 months before I fought Tyler. So that was an opportunity, and the fight served its purpose. Durable opponent, worked on a lot of things that we felt went wrong in the Denny fight, and that's what the fight was there for, to be honest. So it was good. It was good, and I like activity, and it was good to get back out.
Yeah, I was going to kind of wait to mention this, but seeing as you kind of brought up the feeling of losing a fight and how it was, I do kind of want to dig into that a little bit, if you will. You never think about losing, you never want to lose, but for 99% of professionals, you are going to taste defeat at some point. So what was the feeling? Was it shock? Was it disappointment? Was there a weight off the shoulders? How do you kind of describe that feeling post Tyler Denny?
It's not a nice feeling at all. I think sometimes it is how you lose, and like full credit to Tyler, and he is brilliant. But knowing you could have done a little bit better is quite frustrating. Was it my absolute best? Probably not. Was Tyler really good? Yeah. And I think it's how you lose sometimes. It's not a nice feeling, and you've got to take responsibility for why that happened, and why did it happen, and how can you make it not happen again? You've got to take responsibility. And then there's the other side of it. It's how other people, you have to deal with the other people afterwards. So like I get stopped in the street and you feel like you've half got to explain yourself, like what happens? And then I go get a haircut and explain to my barber, and then get a massage and explain it to the receptionist and to my masseuse. And then it gets quite tiring explaining why did that happen. And it's just, it's not a nice feeling at all, but just one of those things. I hope I don't have to deal with it again. But I never thought I'd be like Floyd Mayweather, Oscar, and I'd go 50-0 straight to the top. It was never really going to be like that for me. And I probably learned more in a Denny fight than I did in my first 16 as a pro. Genuinely, like that was such a big learning curve for me. Like normally boxed in front of 1,200 people, and then all of a sudden it's 4,500 plus whatever's on TV. So yeah, just lessons learned, and that's a tough one to swallow, but you just got to do it and move on.
Yeah, and obviously something that will impact you positively, I guess, going forward into the big fights when they come again. Going back to Saturday, there's always a big turnout, or a noisy turnout when you fight at home. Was it nice to kind of get that home appreciation, just kind of have a nice little lift?
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, obviously, haven't lost before and stuff, and you're not sure how people are going to react to you, because like you hear about it, some people take a loss and then everyone tells them to do one. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't sell the same amount of tickets, or people treat them different. And for me, I had 6 weeks to promote the fight, and I sold 180, 190 or something like that, which is amazing. Like it's absolutely brilliant. So it was good to see that the support's still there. And yeah, it does motivate you. It does make things easier. And it does, like you said, lift you up. And it gives you more of a reason to push on. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I've got a lot of people who want me to do well. So it's motivating.
Yeah. Before we go through the options in what is a nicely stacked middleweight division domestically, what are you set on next in yourself? You must have kind of one thing that stands out that you're kind of gunning for at the moment,
Yeah.
be it next or in a few months' time.
I definitely fight in the summer. It's on which sort of circumstances I'm going to fight. Maybe a title eliminator back in Plymouth, to sort of force myself back in a position where Boxer or whoever will have me on their show. But I see that Chris Billiam-Smith's fighting the end of May, and I'd be perfect for that card. Like apparently they want ticket sellers on there. I'd sell 200 plus. It's 3 hours from Mookie, and I just sold 190 in the small hall on Plymouth. Put me in a stadium on a world title fight. It's exciting, but whether they'll have me or not is a different thing. And if not, then yeah, title eliminator in Plymouth, and then put myself back in a position where I get back on the TV fights and target a champion. Yeah, there's plenty of options.
If you're listening, Ben Shalom and Boxer, get this man on.
I said to him at the last fight, I was like, listen, I'll get the win here and then get me on in Bournemouth. He was like, get the win here, you can do what you want. And I lost, so.
Just talking about kind of situationally with you, now you're not with Wasserman. Is it a blessing and a curse in kind of a fight negotiation sense? Because there's a bit of power, I guess, that you lose with that, but you're also available to fight on every platform freely. That there's not too many strings attached. What way do you kind of look at it in that sense?
I think I prefer the freedom, because if something's not happening right away, I have the option to now go fight on a small hall show, which obviously I sell well in Plymouth and stuff, so I have more options, I think. So I quite like the idea of being a free agent, and you're not tied in. There's a little bit more freedom. So yeah, if obviously I want to work my way back to TV, and I believe I can do that through small hall. So yeah.
Would you ever think about potentially chasing the Tyler Denny rematch? Because I know, as you said, the loss hurts, and I guess it was like a wrong you want to put right. Is that something you would consider chasing?
If he's got the title I want, I'll 100% have that fight again. But looking at it like realistically, he's got to move on, and he's not going to defend the English again. And to be honest, I think I should probably go for something like an English again. And he's probably a little bit past an English. So unless he has something that I'm going for, then yeah, who knows? But I would 100% take that fight again and do better the next time. But there's so many belts out there. You've obviously got the Commonwealth as well, and then there's Intercontinental, and like you said earlier, stacked division. There's so many fights out there. Like, there's literally a massive list. You've got Heaney, Hamza Shiraz. Obviously, I can't fight Linus. It's just stacked. There's so many options. So who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe for British.
Yeah, I don't want to seem like I'm just reading down the middleweight list on BoxRec, but something just come into my head when I was looking at the division. River Wilson Bent's come off 2 defeats, albeit at a high level. Brad Ray lost to Tyler in his last fight. Would you welcome a situation of fight one of those? It comes with big risk. No one wants to be the loser or needs to be the loser in that. But the winner of those goes straight back into a title fight. Because I think you and River or you and Brad are big fights.
Yeah, John, I always get tagged in stuff about fighting that Brad Ray all the time.
Mate, because it's an entertaining fight. Anyone who's watched both of you will put you together and say it's violence.
Yeah, I think that's what people just bloodthirsty, aren't they? They want to tear up. But I think me and Brad would be a great fight. People seem to want it, and I think that say Tyler vacates the English, definitely could be an English title fight. We're both in very similar situations. River Wilson Ben, I'd have that any day. But I do like the Brad Ray fight. Seems like a lovely bloke, and I think we'd have a great tear up. Do you know what I mean? So, Battle of the Brads, they were calling it. So, let's have it.
You even thought about the tagline for the promotion. In terms of going forward, obviously you've been in exciting fights. You look at that fight with Ryan Kelly, and that was a brilliant fight. everyone is kind of a people pleaser in a certain sense. Do you kind of look at it from the aspect now of you want fights that are going to entertain people, or is it kind of just look after yourself? You can't always be the #1 entertainer. Or do you look around and think, you know what, I want fights where people are going to go, do you remember what he was in? Do you remember that fight? Do you remember this? Like, do you look at it that way?
That exactly what you just said. You'd rather be remembered for an absolute Gatty Ward style of fight. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a short career, and you want to look back and go, like, I did something amazing. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, you want to grab as many accolades as you can before you leave. And like, I feel like I'm definitely worthy of a few more titles. I could definitely get an English. I'd absolutely love a British. And if you can pick the fights that are more entertaining to get these titles, then that's an ideal situation. Like Brad Ray for the English or British, or because like you hear it all the time, styles make fights, and I think I've got a style that could be in some proper tear-ups, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we love it, don't we? We love a tear-up. That's what we want.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,